Ray, what do you make of Cam's comments?
You know, let me tell you this. I'm good friends with Cam because I've been in this kid's life for a good amount of time now. And when you hear this, for me, I'm sitting there saying to myself, like, okay, what is the point when I'm an Afro-American quarterback and I scare people? Who do you scare? Like, what are you scaring? Right? On the football field? Absolutely. DB's got a problem with you, right? Because you're bigger than most DBs, right? So I get all of that. But outside of that, every person who has ever came through you that's an Afro-American, Shannon, Sharpe, Ray Lewis, we're all the same people. We don't scare people outside of the game, right? When you think about when he says racism does not exist, I don't think fans are not racist, really. Live a little. Live a little, Cam. You see? Because everybody's praising you now when everything's great. But then when things go bad, then you have to react to that. And I think what some of Cam's issues are, Cam is reacting to things before he actually think about things, right? You think about the Super Bowl, at the end of the Super Bowl last year, right? He's reacting to the game. The game is over. The game has been lost by the Carolina Panthers, but now you still have to be a professional and do your job, right? And speak.
Do interviews. Right?
Absolutely. Now you have to be a man enough to take what you was able to dish out all year, right? You celebrated all year. You dabbed on everybody all year. Now you get to the big dance and you lose that dance. Now you don't want to talk to nobody. Wait. And so when you start to hear these comments, sometimes I tell these young kids, slow down first. Don't react so quickly. You know, it's one thing I started doing in my career, and Shannon can tell you, when the media started coming to me directly after the game, I would say, wait a minute, give me 10 minutes to get my thoughts together. Because if you let my natural emotions come out, you're gonna get a whole nother conversation out of me. And when you hear some of these things that Cam is saying, I don't know who he is directing this towards when he say, I'm an Afro-American quarterback, and that may scare people. Scare people to do what? I think that's what my question is. Who am I being scared towards, and what am I being scared about?
You want to go, Skip?
I'll go.
You want me to go?
Yes,
okay.
sir.
What transpired in 5 months to flip Cam from saying what he said to saying racism doesn't exist? I think what happened, Shug, he's trying to ride the fence. But the problem that he's going to run into is that the people that he's trying to placate, 90% of them will never, ever love Cam.
Right.
And the people that say Cam, 98% of the people that like Cam, we was down with you. If you don't think racism exists, when you didn't talk to the media, jump on your timeline. When you was dabbing and doing all that, jump on if you don't think racism exists, when they call you the N-word, they call you the animal, the vermin that has rings around his eyes, you don't think it exists? All you got to do is jump on your timeline, Cam, and you will see that it does exist.
So you're disappointed that he backed off?
I am, because Cam was born in Atlanta. That's the birthplace of the Civil Rights Movement.
Yeah.
They got the King Center probably 10, 15 minutes from Cam's home. John Lewis, Ralph David Abernathy, some of the greats, Dr. Joseph Lowry, some of the great civil rights leaders of all time were born in the very city that Cam was born in. And for Cam to say racism doesn't exist, I know in his heart he would love for it to be, look, maybe I did something to you and that's why you dislike me. I can get, as a football player, I love when fans hated me because they told me I was a good player and I beat your team. But once you start calling me outside of my name, that has nothing to do with no game. That has nothing to do with my talent. You're judging me because I look different than you. And therein lies the problem. See, Cam wants to ride the fence because he's marketable, he's handsome, he's intelligent, and he can appeal to a lot of different demographics.
Yep.
So he was like, if I say what I truly feel, I'm gonna upset them.
Correct.
But by riding the fence, you placated. They like, you see, Cam said it's not no racism, not any racism. But the people that supported you when you got in that incident at the University of Florida, when your dad got in that trouble at Auburn, who stood behind you? Jump on your timeline doing those two things. I don't know if you had Twitter back then, but jump on your timeline. Let's just say for the last 7 months, Cam, if you don't think racism is real, if you don't think it exists, all you got to do is jump on your timeline. Because I can assure you, Skip, you and I and Joy, we did an interview this morning with Fox and Friends. I can pull up my timeline and show you. Because you know what they said? The wealthy end. That's how they address you now. They don't just say you're low level, you're low class, you're broke country end. They call you a wealthy end now. It's real.
We know it's out there. Okay, I'm going to attempt to defend Cam Newton. I don't know Cam. Ray is like a big brother to Cam. I do have a sense, though. I think his heart is big and good. And I don't say that about everybody, but would you go with me on that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's the sense I get from this young man. And he's still a very young man in many ways. So I think he opened a door before the Super Bowl when he made that reference. I'm an African-American quarterback that scares people. And he decided he didn't want to walk through that door because he did not like the backlash that he received from it because it was furious. And even I sat back because, just to background you, back in my first stint in Los Angeles, when I worked for the Los Angeles Times many years ago, they sent me to spend a week with a young man named Doug Williams when he was a quarterback at Grambling and about to be picked high in the NFL draft. And Doug Williams obviously became the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
And the only.
And the only.
No, Russell Wilson now.
They don't have now. That's a good point. All right. And I covered Warren Moon when he was at the University of Washington before he got exiled to Canada and had to prove himself there before he proved himself Hall of Fame-wise on the bigger stage. So I go way back with the black quarterback, and I do think we've seen a lot of progress in the National Football League with black quarterbacks being chosen high in the draft fairly routinely over the last 20-odd years. So when Cam made a statement like you, I was like, so what exactly do you mean by that? You scare people? How? You don't scare me. I love to watch you. You entertain me just the way Doug Williams entertained me. You're a little different. You're bigger, stronger. Blah, you know. Okay, we can do all that. But in the end, I wasn't sure what the point was because I'm not sure Cam knew yet what his point was. Right. Okay. So here's my point. We call upon our stars to make statements, social, racial, political statements occasionally, to stand up and be heard. The black community wants its black stars to support them, to speak for them. Some are qualified, some are not qualified. Some don't feel responsible enough or knowledgeable enough to take that kind of a public stand because they're just not there yet. They're not sure what they think. Sometimes LeBron speaks out, and sometimes I respect him because he backs off. I don't know enough about that one. I'm not sure enough about that one. I'm not going to go there yet. So Cam, I think, again, is this selling out? To me, it's not. It's a sign of growing maturity that he said, man, I don't want to step in there yet again. Maybe I will later, but right now I'm going to step back. Maybe it's to protect some endorsements. I get that. But maybe he just wants to be a football player for a while, win another MVP, and maybe win a championship, and then it would empower him and embolden him enough to say, okay, now I'm ready to walk through that door that I opened before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but right now he's on both sides of the fence. He's trying to please one, but he's alienating another because the majority of the blacks, when what was going down, we thought it was a hatchet job. That they're trying to get Cam, they don't want him to play, they're trying to do this to his dad. We believed him even when whatever came out. I know his dad a little bit more because he's a couple years older than I am, and he went to Savannah State. So I know his dad a little better than I know Cam. But what happened is that, as you and Ray has laid out, is that the backlash from what he said at the Super Bowl was so great that he did a total 180.
He did.
He went from saying they were scared because I'm an African-American quarterback to saying racism doesn't exist in 5 months. Like, I'm like, where does Cam live? Because I want to get there where there's no racism.
You know what's funny, Shay, and this is really interesting, Skip, that when you think about the new millennials and this new era of kids, right, and this new social media area and this new everything, I'm riding in the car with my son, and I asked my son a question. I said, have you ever read the Willie Lynch letter? He said, what is that, Dad? I said, really? You don't know what Willie Lynch wrote about blacks? And the problem is when you hear Cam, history, they don't go back for history. See, because before you say that, if just like you said, when you start to walk in a black man's shoes and everybody is not on your side, then you start to understand why racism does exist, right? When you walk in the stadiums, and I'm walking in the stadium, Skip, and I'm listening, and I'm going in there to play a football game. And the things that I hear from white people that say things, and you will look at yourself and say, really?
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I was there firsthand
Right.
in 2000 because a lot of people don't know when Ray was going through what he was going through. He came and he was staying with me in my basement, and I would, we go work out, we train and I would talk to him every night before we went to bed. Hey, this is what you got to do, and blase, blase. But going to the stadium and here, see, this is not about Ray as a good football player. This is not about my team against your team. You made it personal. You took it to a place it didn't have to go. See, I heard the murdering end. I heard the black end. See, when you hear that, and you're like, is it that serious? Is it that serious that you would say that? And they say it in front of the kids.
Yeah.
They say it in front of the kids, and then we wonder why. I believe the millennials, and I didn't know the demographics, like 18 to 34. I had to get enlightened with that. They're growing up in a different time. It's become, you see more in. Skip, when I was growing up, it was unheard of to even think about taking opposite race to a prom or to a school dance. Are you crazy?
Right.
Now they do it like it's nothing. It's a walk in the park. But you still got those hard.
That can be a good thing, though, right?
Yeah,
Right?
oh, it's
Okay,
absolutely
okay,
great.
okay,
Absolutely.
All right.
But you still got those hardliners
Yeah, I know.
that says, okay, you stay here, I'm gonna stay here, you stay in your place.
Yeah.
Look, and it's like if you got money, you wealthy and you black, look, you wealthy and black, shut up. We don't want to hear from you. But no, because I think that we can do better than what we've been doing. And look, Cam has every right to say that maybe that is legitimately how he feels. All I would ask is that he just go to his timeline and take a look and see if he still thinks racism doesn't exist.
Right.
Okay.
Because we can do better. We're gonna do better. I believe in our society. I believe we're gonna do better. We just have to get the right people at the table, come up with the right solutions, implement those, and says, okay, we're moving forward. But in 2016, I would have thought that we would be further along than what we are in 2016.